And welcome to the Raleigh Municipal Lighting Plant Commissioners Meeting for November 18th, 2015. And our first item agenda is citizens' query from 7 to 7:10 p.m. Okay. Our second agenda item is review and accept minutes from previous meetings, and we have 2 meetings tonight to accept. September 29th, 2015 Special Commissioners Meeting. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at those? Okay.
I'll give you a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, motion made.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to accept the September 29th Special Commissioners Meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the second set of meetings is for October 13th, 2015. And has everybody had a chance to look at those? Actually, I had a couple of questions on that one. Okay. There we go. Eric, on the second page, beginning New England, new power purchase contract starting January 2016?
Yep.
Okay, the third sentence up from the end of that paragraph, it says supplies to be priced it be.
Yeah, that's
It
a new
out.
way of saying it.
Well, you get 2 ways. You can say suppliers to price out, or suppliers price it.
We'll make a correction.
But either way, it's not gonna work.
Okay.
And I think I've got one more for you. Under the last paragraph on the first page, it says manager folding said to a little more time.
Yeah.
Did I really say that?
I don't know, but it doesn't sound too good. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say it's a typo.
There we go.
Okay, that's the only thing I found. So
Okay.
I know I'm a pain, but sorry.
No, I'll give you a motion with the correction of those two points.
Okay. Motion made?
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to accept the October 13th, 2015 Commissioners' meeting minutes with the corrections. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I think Eric does that on purpose.
It's been a while.
He wants to make sure that I'm reading him.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 3 on the agenda is hybrid electric water tank rebates.
At the last board meeting, we spoke somewhat about because the customer requested a rebate on something that we don't offer rebates on currently. And we spoke a little bit about it, or discussed a little bit about it last meeting, and basically we left off as kind of need more information to, before we put it on as part of our rebate program.
Right.
So I did forward you some information that I had received from Energy New England as far as the little bit of a description of the water tank itself and why it would be considered as for the rebates.
Yeah.
In looking at it a little bit more, this hybrid water tank is a little bit of a, it's an electric hot water tank, but it uses advanced heat pump technology and to draw the heat out of the air to heat the water along with electric.
Okay.
So that's I believe it said it was 62% more efficient than the standard 50-gallon electric hot water tank.
Mhm.
A lot of companies offer rebates, not so much municipalities, but the IOUs offer rebates on this type of hot water tank. I feel it would be a good addition to our rebate program. We haven't added anything to it in quite a while.
Yep.
It's just a matter of how much money we want to add to the program.
Yeah,
From-
actually, the tank itself, I saw that happened after you sent this to us. And you're looking through the Saturday newspaper, and there's a flyer there from Lowe's for different things. And they actually had one of these heaters in there, and it was priced at $1,000.
It is pricey,
Yeah.
but it saves the customer actually quite a bit of money on their hot water, domestic hot water bill
Mhm.
over the cost of the age of the tank.
Oh.
Being 62% more efficient than an electric hot water tank, it's,
Yeah. Having owned an electric hot water
I
tank at one
still
time.
do, but this is a little bit more information. I didn't print out all of them, it's more the spec sheet on the water tank itself.
Okay.
And I did print out the email if you want a paper copy of the email that I sent out. I didn't want that, Ken. It's just the email that I had sent you.
Okay.
Was with the,
Yeah, the two numbers that I see on this are right about what I was thinking, between 250 and 300.
okay. That's kind of what I felt as well,
Yeah.
around 250, 300.
Is there a guarantee, you know, like usually gas water heaters, like what, 4, 6, and 8, I think, years?
Something like that. If
Well,
you
this
get
one has a limited 10-year warranty.
10, okay, 10 years, all right.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
And it says provides peace of mind and durability,
Mm.
but they haven't used Raleigh water yet.
I like touching that.
Well, sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion, I think we should add it to the rebate program. From the experience that E&E has, who does our rebate program,
Mhm.
and talking to other municipalities, they haven't had, there's been a little bit of interest in it, not a lot, so not enough to actually
Mhm.
really put a strain on the budget for the energy conservation that we have.
Right.
So I think adding it would not hurt us at all, and it would help our
No.
customers, so.
I mean, I don't see the average homeowner going out and spending $1,000 for a hot water heater like that.
Mhm.
It's just kind
Well,
of
they,
be
you know,
a lot of money.
there may be some people that, you know, don't have gas,
Yeah.
and, you know, they're in that position where they, you know, looking to save some money, so.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, we could help them out with that,
Yeah.
with the rebate thing, which would be good, and it would be good for us.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep,
Yep.
I think so.
It'll keep the demand down a little bit,
Yeah.
so. Okay, so you want a motion?
Yeah, it's as far as the amount, yeah,
Call
definitely.
for a motion to,
Well, what are we gonna do for
a price?
a rebate?
Well, there's the other two that were listed on that were Holyoke and Braintree. One is 250, the other's 300. And we're with the smaller of the two. Maybe the 250 would be good.
250, yeah.
Mhm.
We can try that out, and we can always look at it again if we think it's not enough.
It's not enough, yeah.
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 Yeah,
I'll give you a motion with 250 amount.
okay.
Seconded, yeah.
Motion made and seconded for the rebate program for the new GeoSpring Hydro hybrid electric water heater.
I will add that to the list of appliances that we offer the rebate on.
Okay.
And I will talk to the customer that originally initiated the conversation. I'll let him know that he needs paperwork filled out and he'll be able to get the rebate on that water tank.
Very good. Okay, so that gets us down to item number 4 on the agenda, which is electric vehicle public charging stations.
I just need a second.
Sure, take your time.
Okay, our last meeting as well, we talked about, we had a customer request, or not request, but basically talk about electric vehicle public charging stations, not home stations. And if we had considered putting one in somewhere within the town of Raleigh. So we talked about it at the board level, but again, we kind of just spoke about it or discussed it, and then we kind of wanted more information on that. So I did forward you a couple of things, and Bob sent me an email yesterday about EV charging stations, and I also sent an email out to the other municipalities in the state of Mass just to kind of get an idea of what other municipalities have done, and I've got a lot of different responses, as is generally the case. There are some municipalities that basically don't offer anything for EV stations. They've been asked and they just don't offer anything. And then there are some that have purchased and installed the EV charging stations themselves. So it runs the whole gamut of anywhere from not at all to buying and installing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of, talking amongst ourselves and deciding if it's something we want to pursue or not. There are a number of different ways to do it. One would be us purchasing the equipment and installing it somewhere within the town. Then there's the option of commercial operations in town, whether it be grocery stores, whether it be donut shops, buying them and installing them and having it run off their customer service. That's generally what happens. Most of the EV charging stations are commercially owned and operated through a private business, whether it be at a coffee store or something like that, a destination. Where they could just
Restaurants or something, those types of
Yeah,
businesses.
malls, things like that. That's generally where you see them installed, and they generally are free of charge. That's not. I don't think that's something that we would want to get into as far as offering a charging station for free somewhere in town. But that again, that's up for the board to decide. How we want to move forward, if we want to move forward with doing something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it difficult because we really can't sell electricity for less than we pay for it.
No,
As
right, and we can't
As a
allow
municipal, yeah.
somebody to put a charging station in and offer that electricity for resale. That's against our,
Right.
so we can't allow that to happen. It's against our terms and conditions. So if it was a private entity that did this, it would have to be basically a free, charging station located, off their meter, so they would basically pay,
more
for
of an advertising type
Yeah.
setup where they offer it to bring customers in.
Right. It's like free Wi-Fi.
Exactly, yeah.
Same
Yeah.
idea.
Same idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we, at this point, how many vehicles out there are electric, and I've heard no figures, and so that's something that I guess the registry of motor vehicles would have or something. You know, it's coming, I mean,
Yeah,
but where's the,
What's interesting, and I don't know if you probably haven't seen it yet, but AAA did a survey down in Florida, actually, and tried to figure out how far you could go with the charge on the battery.
right,
And generally, it's about 150 miles. But if you bring the temperature down, and it's not all that much, I mean, it's like, it's not even below freezing.
mhm,
I can't remember the exact figures, but you lose approximately 67%.
really.
Yeah, you're down to 40 or 50 miles.
You know, there's, you know, they gotta
See,
protect,
The battery's technology is just not there.
no, you're right, and I guess Tesla's really trying to build a battery that, you know, they need to go 400 miles. I mean, that's what they need.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, it's just beyond reach right now.
And even in the higher temperatures, up around 70, 80 degrees, it's still around 30%.
Hmm.
So I don't know what the optimum is, but I was kind of taken aback by that.
Uh,
Those figures.
There's no doubt in my mind that, you know, American ingenuity will come up with a
Mhm.
battery,
No
but
question.
it's,
Mhm.
you know, it's just not there yet.
right.
But when it does, it's gonna take off.
Oh, and I think, you know, at that point, we'll definitely, you know, bring up the issue again and talk about it some more. It's just a matter of, it would be more, to me, like at the train station in Raleigh, that'd be a perfect place to put
Right.
some charging stations. But that'd be the railroad to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be up for us, and that would be a public for free charging station. So as far as the light department, I mean, it's up for the board, but I don't think it's something that we want to get into right now.
Right now, I think, you know, it's just not there, because the batteries. But once they perfect the batteries, then, you know, it will take off,
Yeah,
and
and I-
people will look at it as an alternative.
I think where would you put it? I mean, we could say, well, okay, we'll put one at Town Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine if you live from the end of the common down to the center of town, where you can drive in, plug it in, and walk home. But if you live up on Haverhill Street and you want to charge your car and you bring it down here, then what do? Call a taxi to get home? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. You know, it really doesn't. So it's got to be someplace where people are drawn to do things, such as a mall, a shopping mall.
And again, I think the train station, that would be the place
Yeah,
to
but
put it.
how many would you have to put in?
Oh, well,
That becomes another issue, because everybody down there is gonna want one, and they're not gonna leave until they come back. It's not like you go into the mall and you plug it in, you go in, you do your shopping,
Mhm.
grab a bite to eat, and then come back out and leave.
well, you know, and the shopping malls will eventually, but again, it's the batteries.
Yes.
When the battery has to be perfected.
No, I agree.
I think we just return to this until, you know, somebody like Tesla or somebody
The
perfects that
technology
battery.
comes up a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, it's,
That article in the Newburyport paper was quite informative, if you read it, you know. They've already got one car already, as far as I
Yeah.
can tell.
Yeah.
3 hours to charge those batteries, according to that article.
Mm.
Cars are $28,000.
Yeah.
And they're setting up a unit next to the library.
Are they? Yeah. And that's another good place for it, because
You
you
know,
come
next-
in, you do your work at the library, and then leave.
Yeah,
But
I would say that some of the information that you had sent me, Bob, is talking about fleets for municipal-owned vehicles as well. If the
Mm.
town decided to go that route on electric vehicles for their fleet, then I would say it'd be something that we would want to really look into, because the vehicles would be charged while they were at work. Like,
Right.
let's say I had one, I could plug it in at the office, and then, you know, drive back and forth to work with it,
yeah.
or drive to a meeting or whatever. I mean, that would be something. If the town decided to move forward with that, then I think we'd seriously have to look into.
maybe some, you know, like Triton, you know, I mean, a school system, Pine
Yeah, but
Grove.
still, that's another issue, because it's an all-day thing.
Yeah, that somebody's gonna park at one particular place all day long,
Yeah.
you know,
And
for
it's-
8 hours.
And it depends on how many vehicles you're dealing with. I mean, you have to put in, who knows? I mean, they probably park, 100 cars over there?
Yeah, yeah.
At least at Triton. I know the lot's full.
But again, you know, we just have to keep revisiting this until,
Yeah, oh, definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, the technology is gonna change at some point, there's no
Yeah.
question about that, and it has come a long way since the beginning. I mean, when they lit the lead acid batteries, they couldn't hardly get to the store and
right.
get back home again,
Yeah, they got, still have a heat problem with a lot of the batteries and,
yeah.
but.
That was the hybrid, that's why they came up with the hybrid, because you needed the gasoline engine to keep the thing going.
Yeah, the person I know in town has a hybrid, just swears by it.
Yeah.
I forget what the mileage is, like something like 48 miles a gallon or something.
Crazy, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
again, we come back to it, just keep coming back.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a
Okay.
couple of places that, on the list that, I was surprised how many on that list, charging stations across the state right now.
Yeah,
I didn't think there'd be that many,
yeah, there's quite a few.
Mm.
yeah.
More and more proposed all the time.
It'll grow.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. We can move on to item number 5, Bright Energy, is that what that says, solar array?
Brighter G.
Brightergy, okay. That's certainly slaughtering the English language.
Yeah.
Solar array proposal for 3 different sites in Rowley.
I had spoken to the commissioners about a proposal that was brought forward to me. It was Brightergy, but it was for a different property in town. There was a property owner that was willing to talk to Brightergy
Mhm.
about putting a solar array on one piece of property.
Mhm.
Apparently, that didn't quite pass the test. So that Brightergy decided to look at different lots in town through real estate agents and find out where they can get secure land to put solar developments on. So they come back to me with 2 different sites in Raleigh at first. One site, I think it's 545 Newburyport Turnpike, and the other site is Taylor Lane. They spoke to me about both those sites, and they wanted interconnection numbers to in order for them to come up with a firm purchase power price for us to purchase the KWH from the solar array. And these are smaller arrays. These are under 600, around 600 kW arrays, only because the under 600 kW arrays still get the 80% SREX because it's considered commercial and not utility scale, and it's not under the new SREC guideline rules as far as managed growth. So it's something that they can do right away. When in talking to them, I also said, well, the price is a little bit high. Can we get maybe more solar and maybe reduce the cost of Raleigh? Economies of scale, and say, the bigger, hopefully the price will come down. So I mentioned to them about a site that we were going to do solar on probably 4 years ago now, and that's the Country Gardens site.
Mhm.
And they approached
Bill.
Mr. Freitag, and
Mhm.
they came to an agreement with him. So now we have 3 different sites in town that they are interested in putting solar arrays on. I have pushed the PPA in interconnection agreement before the Light Department's council, and they've agreed to it because it's something they've used in another municipality. So it's all been vetted through council. So that's good. It's just a matter of myself talking to them and getting the PPA price to a point where it's acceptable to us, and we're almost there.
Oh, good.
We're almost there. Right now, they're offering us. This is just what they came back with me today. I'm sorry, I don't have more copies. This is just what they came back with me today. They came back with a number of different options for terms and prices. And I specifically asked them for this just to kind of get an idea of, so if we decided to mix it up, we could. And basically what they're telling us is a 20-year term,
Mhm.
and they all, basically most of them have escalators. So an escalator is, you know, they grow the price of the project or the PPA at least 1% a year or more. Some of them are 1.5, some of them are 2%, depends on the deal. So there's 4 different figures there. One of them is a 20-year deal with a 1% escalator. There's a 20-year deal with a 0% escalator. There's a 25-year deal with a 1% escalator, and there's a 25-year deal with a 0% escalator. Just to give us a range of different prices for each one of the terms and the,
So the escalator is in our favor.
no.
Well,
Well, the 1% escalator means that the KWH price per KW, let me start over. The escalator is
KWH is,
the KWH price that they increase that escalator each year.
well, it says here terms of years is 20. It's got the first 20-year term.
Mm-hmm.
And it says a 0 escalator, and it's 0.84.
Yep.
And then you go to the second one, which has a 1%, second 20-year one, with a 1% escalator, and it's 0.078, which is less.
Yeah, the first one is the 0% escalator, so that's a flat fee for the 20 years.
Okay,
So it starts out, that's what you pay for it for 20 years, so it's 8 cents for 20 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't increase at all. That's why I asked them for that, just to kind of give us an idea of what would it be like without the escalator, because if you grow the escalator, it grows 1%, and it compounds every year.
okay.
So it starts out at
So it
7,
starts out at 7.
and then
Okay.
1% next year, 1% the year after, and so on and so forth for the 20 years.
Okay, so they've upped it on with the 0 escalator, they've come to that final, at the end of 20 years, what it would be.
Mhm.
They're gonna charge you for that each time.
Yeah, and I can, what I'm going to do is I've got to put that down in the spreadsheet just to kind of figure out the starting point and the end point, just to see where that number
Now,
is.
who owns this thing? Do these people own it, or does
They
the
will-
owner?
They will own that.
They will own it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they sign a commercial lease with the private
With the
property
private
owner, and then we would sign a PPA with them. They would own, maintain the project,
Mhm.
and we would just take all the output from it.
Yeah. And how's that, those prices line up with what we're doing right now?
They're not bad,
Not bad?
considering,
Okay.
well, right now, wholesale prices are 3 to 4 cents kilowatt hour on the average. But that doesn't include transmission cost to get it to us. Transmission is running between 3 and 4 cents kilowatt hour every month, so
So we're almost there.
we're
already.
almost there. But the solar generally doesn't help us with, well, let me back up a step. Solar is there generally between 10 o'clock and 3 to 4 o'clock
Mhm.
generally, and then it severely declines after
Starts to
that.
drop off, yeah.
And this time of year, it's even early. It's probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Generally, our peak here in Rowley is around 5 to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So as we were talking about the tangent project and the generation,
Mhm.
we were trying to hit the ICAP tag hour to help us with our forward capacity market cost.
Mhm.
This really won't help with that, only because by the time we get to that peak hour, the solar is really starting to drop off. So this is really only going to help us with energy. And that's really only going to help us with energy. The other generator would help us with the transmission cost, the LMP, the ICAP tag, and all that other stuff. This would just basically just be a, and there would be no environmental products with this project. All the SRECs would stay with the project. They would take care of that.
Yeah, and that's the reason I want to do it. They want to get
Yeah.
that payout.
So the only thing we would take out of that is the energy. So it's as long as I can come to an agreement with them, you know, and just maybe fine tune the numbers a little bit, then I think it's going to be a good project for us. Considering the fact that prices are probably going to go nowhere but up, and if we can lock in even a 7 cent with a 1% escalator for the project, I think that's probably a pretty good number.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of if I could get them lower, I definitely will try to do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it would
and-
help to a couple of cents if we could, but
A couple, I don't know whether they're gonna do that, but
Wishful
we
thinking.
could, yeah.
Oh, wishful thinking. Hey, what the heck?
Yeah.
Adventure not be gained, right?
Right, no, they seem, so far, they've seemed like a good company to deal with. I've only had a couple of different meetings with them, so far they seem pretty good, but remains to be seen when we get to the negotiation stage as far as the pricing goes,
Yeah.
where we go from there.
See how committed they really are.
Yeah, yeah. They're smaller projects. As I said, one was on Taylor Lane. They have a piece of property there. 545 Newburyport Turnpike is almost between Seamar's and Olive Cafe on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
And well, you know where the Country Gardens is the same piece of property where they were going to use before. So the field on the left-hand side out in the back.
Yeah.
So we'll see where, I'll keep the board informed as to, how we're doing. I've got to send an email to them and talk to them about the pricing, but as soon as I get some more information, I'll definitely pass it along.
Okay, well,
Good.
it hasn't showed up here yet, but it's showing up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
At this
Oh,
point.
definitely. I think it's a good. It'd be, as long as we can get it for the right price, I think it's going to be a good thing for Raleigh.
Yeah.
And everybody's doing it. And once they, as we were talking about a minute ago about batteries, once they perfect the batteries and they perfect the storage for electricity, then having solar and in conjunction with energy storage, i.e. batteries, you get the benefit of having that solar during the day, charging your batteries, displacing your peak at night by discharging the batteries when you need them.
Yeah.
So, but as soon as and if we have the solar in and batteries, come of age and it's time for them, then we look at storage as well.
Right. Good. Okay. So item number 6, update on Raleigh Generation Project.
I don't have a lot to give you on this, only because, as we talked on our last meeting, I did forward all the information to Energy New England as another set of eyes to look at the numbers, and they've really been looking at the numbers. I was on the phone with an E&E representative for about an hour a little while ago, and as we've talked about in the past, there's a lot of gray area in the reconstitution and the LNS and the RNS. So nobody's really comfortable telling us this is what's going to happen. So I've got to approach Greg again and just kind of see what we can do as far as taking the reconstitution, the all the transmission part of it out of the model, and finding out when we do that, what happens to the model, what's the payback still, and if even their investors will go for that. That takes a lot of it lengthens the time frame, because as you saw in the shared savings model, it's originally we're predicting a very short time span for that project that generator to be paid off. But as we remove different savings from the model, the time span gets a lot greater for us to
Stretches it out.
for the payback. And it's a lot depends on looking at it that way, as far as that'd be basically our fallback position to say, all right, this is it. This is really the only thing we can really count on is this. These numbers won't change. This is basically the worst case scenario of how long it's going to take us to pay back the generator and what the benefits are to Raleigh. And then it's figuring out the, because we don't have a copy of the purchase power agreement or the contract yet. So it's a matter of how that contract is structured as well, and how they address different shortcomings, if there are any, in the payback. You know, if the person financing the project decides, you know, I've had enough, I want my money now, or not that that's going to happen, but you know, it's just those things need to be addressed in the contract as well, and it's how they address those things if we agree to that, and that's going to take some time addressing that through legal and whatnot. So I'll definitely have some more information, because people are working diligently to get me what I need for the December meeting.
Okay.
So, and they did E&E did volunteer to come up and actually sit in the commissioners meeting, and I don't know if that's going to help you or not. You need to tell me that, because I know
Well,
we've
I think all the information we can get, whether we can digest it or not, that might be an issue.
Mhm.
But at least we're getting what we think is good information. And we need that, we really do.
Yeah.
To just try to make a intelligent decision.
And that's been the most difficult part of it, is trying to get the information to you that you need to make that decision. And I feel like I've given you a lot of information, but none of it's really said, you know, etched in stone, this is what's going to happen, because a lot of people don't know, and that's part of the problem.
Exactly. We just don't know what's gonna happen, and particularly with ISO.
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, the rules are changing almost every day, basically.
Basically.
It really is. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I say go back, get the figures with all the reconstitution, see where we stand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll speak with Greg tomorrow. I'll speak, you know, I plan on making some more phone calls with Greg, well, after our other thing tomorrow, but with Greg and Tim again and legal again, and just passing all that by them, because other people are doing this, and I just like to know how they're getting around these different issues, and or if they are. I mean, because if they're not, then I'd like to talk to them to kind of say, you know, look out for this and look out for this as well,
Right.
because there are pitfalls that
Right.
I think everybody needs to be aware of. And if they aren't, then I'd like to know how they're doing it to get around these different issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are other people, I've talked to different municipalities, and a lot of people are thinking about it.
I don't think we want to go through what we went through with in the 80s,
You know.
with another plant that's up and running right now.
No, and you know what? It really, it shouldn't be this difficult.
No.
And I've asked the people, I says, is it really this difficult? They say it shouldn't be, but it is. It really is. And
Well, there's a reason. There is a reason. We're the minority. And it's the majority that keep pushing these things.
yeah.
Right.
So, and that's basically where we're at. And I hope I've given you as much as you can get right now. And I feel like I just keep postponing
Well, I
it to
mean,
different meetings. But
To a certain degree, I feel fairly comfortable with what the presentation they gave us the last time.
okay,
But there's always that where's the little dark spot that you're gonna run into at some point, and it's just, I'm not really convinced that we should make the jump at this point. We just need more information, really.
yeah, I'm not either.
Always got that feeling, it's too good to be true.
There's always that.
Yeah.
So I will. Our next meeting isn't that far away. It's only less than 3 weeks away. So
Mhm.
we'll. I'll definitely have some more information and more.
Okay.
Something we can definitely talk about, and whether or not I'm able to get somebody here for the meeting or not, we'll see. But I'll definitely let you know
Well,
ahead
this
of
one gets
time.
more information, I think it'll be a little bit better. It'll help us to try to make that decision.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Through with that topic?
Go with that.
Okay, tree trimming for 2016.
As in the past, Rowley has put out an RFP for trimming for a 3-year span. I just put that RFP out two or 3 weeks ago now, so it's been advertised. It's been in the advertised in the Mass State Bulletin, and it was advertised in the paper. The bids are due. Sealed bids are due Friday for the years 16, 17, and 18. So we have a bid opening on Friday just to see what the prices are.
Prices are?
Yeah.
Okay.
And once we get the bid open, once we open the bids, we'll be able to, to see where we're at as far as tree trimming goes. But I do like going through the RFP for the 3 years. It's a little bit of a, I mean, that's the RFP right there for tree trimming. So it's a good sized document and
Yeah.
addresses a lot of different things. The OSHA has definitely upped the ante a little bit as far as who we can hire for tree trimmers, because they have to be
Certified or some sort.
not quite certified, but they have to be experienced in different aspects of the OSHA regulations as far as minimum approach distances and whatnot. So, and they're required now to wear rubber gloves, and they're required to have hot sticks, and they're required to be aware of what they're doing as far as approaching live lines and whatnot. So that kind of adds in a whole new aspect to the whole tree trimming thing, where not what it was before.
Right.
So, which definitely it adds to the price now that we have to pay for tree trimmers, because it's not what it used to be. So we'll look over the bids. We'll look over the bids on Friday, and I'll let you know at the next meeting what we
Okay.
decide.
Sounds good.
It's an important aspect of what we do.
It's a very important aspect as far as maintenance of the system. A lot of companies, the first thing they'll let go is a tree trimming budget, and you can see when you have storms. Rowley is one of the ones that are on, but some other IOUs are
Get
in the
slammed.
dark.
Some
They get
get
slammed.
When you think back on the
The
last
pressure
couple
that
of
was put on them is forced them to do it, and I think that's probably what's triggered the OSHA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look, if you look at the last couple of years, and the outages we've had been very, very few due to the tree trimming.
Tree trimm's very important.
Yeah, all right.
And I found that out the hard way. I really did,
Mm.
because when I first took over as manager, we didn't have it in the budget,
Mm.
and I let it go for a year. And we paid for it.
It's, believe it or not, I mean, Mark does a very nice job of putting together a 3-year program in different zones, because we try to do a 4 to 5 year
Cycle.
rotation or cycle. And even 5 years is stretching it a little bit,
It is,
because
yeah.
there are some sections in town that you could go back there every 2 years or every 3 years.
It depends on the weather. Like, the weather is very, it drives that a lot. I mean, if
Yeah.
we get a wet season, particularly spring season, you get a tremendous amount of growth.
Mhm.
And, that first year, I said, that's it, we're not gonna do this again. So the money's gonna be there, even if we gotta take it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
We've gotta do the trimming.
Yeah, and we're looking at probably $30,000 to $40,000 a year
Hmm.
for trimming. I mean, that's not out of the question. But most people spend that nowadays.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But you just think about, if you don't do this, how much you pay in maintenance. I mean, it's just enormous maintenance cost. Outage, you get one good ice storm, you have people out for, days,
Weeks.
so best to be proactive.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn. You got that look.
Did I hear that look?
I guess, unless Dan's got
I'll give you that
something else he
motion.
needs to.
Motion I seconded.
Okay, motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.